as we begin to create our campaign inside of Facebook, I wanted to quickly show you just the different format options that we're going to choose inside of our campaign. So what I have here are sidebar. Those are the ones you would see way on the right hand side. Newsfeed, that's the most common one actually to do a newsfeed ad. Instagram newsfeed as well. You can do stories, both Instagram and Facebook stories. Messenger, that's another whole animal, but it's really cool that we can actually put ads right into people's Facebook inbox. Video feeds, marketplace, in articles, audience network, and also there are like ads and boosting posts. So I just call this one out at the bottom here because like ads and boosting posts are what you would do at the front of the page. And there is a time and place for those. We're not going to be covering that in this particular campaign. So we're going to be focusing on these ones here. Now, another note is you don't normally have to worry anymore about where to place it. You used to have to. I used to create all my ad sets and separate out all the different placements. But Facebook has actually gotten much better at placing ads in the audience network and other placements and really focused on finding the right people for us. So what I normally like to do is just let Facebook choose for me. So that's why it's very less stress here if you can just let Facebook do all the heavy lifting for you. So let's actually go into the Facebook Ads Manager and start creating our campaign. All right, now that we are in the Ads Manager, bring up your campaign plan. Remember, we had that plan that we had put together so we know how we're going to set everything up inside of Facebook. So have that handy. And I'm in the Ads Manager. Again, if you don't see this right away, remember you can always go up to the menu up here. And it's usually up here at the top, but if you don't see it, just choose All Tools, and it's in the second column down here. It says Ads Manager, and we're going to go Create. So let's create a new campaign. And remember, I had already had one here, so I just like to keep things easy. Let's copy and paste that in. And we're not running an ad for credit, employment, or housing, so I'm not going to select that. You usually keep it at auction. There are a number of different objectives that you can choose here. Because I'm trying to get you set up for success as quickly as possible, let's go to walk through a conversion ad for a webinar registration. Let's just pretend that we're doing that. And then once I've gone through all this, I'm going to go through the different types of campaign objectives and let you know when and why we would use them in what parts of a campaign. So that way we would have already gone through all the mechanics and then we can kind of talk more about the strategy. Okay. So for this one, again, we're going to use an example of getting webinar registrations. Let's choose conversions, because we want to look for conversions. And I'm going to ignore this. Sometimes you'll see Facebook's very good at marketing. So they put up these little messages for you inside of the Facebook Ads Manager as you do it. Sometimes it's annoying. Sometimes it's useful. I would say take everything with a grain of salt that Facebook tells you. Because remember, Facebook is looking out for Facebook, not for you and not for your clients. So what does Facebook want? Facebook needs to generate revenue for its shareholders. So it's always trying to get ways to figure out to help you spend more money. And at the same time, they're trying to balance how to make sure they keep people engaged on the platform and get more people on the platform. So that said, you can choose to ignore this or not. I'm going to ignore it. There is a split testing option. We're not going to use that right now, but it's definitely something that you can use in Facebook. And this is something that everybody's been talking about recently, and it's campaign budget optimization. In a couple of months, this is actually going to be not an option for anybody. You will have to do everything with campaign budget optimization. All this really does is, and I'll toggle this so you can see what it does here, is it's going to manage the budget from a campaign level. So normally what we have is we'll have campaigns, and then we'll have different ad sets and campaigns, and you'll have different ads inside of those campaigns. Right now you have the option of managing the budget at the campaign level or at the ad set level. So here, campaign budget optimization says, hey, tell us how much you want to spend over your entire campaign, and we'll manage that for you. So I'm going to turn that off for now. And again, like I said, you can always turn it back on, and it's going to be mandatory soon. So you might as well get used to it, right? But I'm going to turn it off for now. And then under ad set, let's create the ad set. So I'm going to go over here, and this is going to be the name of my ad set. Okay. And we won't create the ad yet. So I'm just going to go skip ad, and you can click save to draft. All right. Now that it's saved to draft, it pulls me in here. So we've already looked over this. We can go straight to the ad set. You can just click over here to get into the ad set, or you can go over here and click edit. So if you're here out in the campaign section, you can just click the campaign and it'll keep drilling down for you. So you can just click edit here. So a couple different ways to get to where you want. Now we want to put a conversion event because this is a conversion ad, right? So remember when we set up our custom conversions and our pixel and everything? So here I can choose one. Maybe it's here it is, complete registration. All right. So we have a default complete registration one. If I created a custom conversion ad, this is what I would put here. So you choose whatever it is. One pro note here, and it's also a mistake, make sure you double check what the conversion is. Why I say sometimes it can be a mistake here or a failure here is because if you're not careful here and you start running ads and then you realize, oh no, I chose the wrong conversion. Well, you can change it afterwards, but what I have found is when you change it after the ads have been running, the ads just don't perform that well, and you probably end up having to stop everything, create a new campaign with the correct conversion, and that seems to run better. That sort of makes sense because in a way you're confusing Facebook once it's already started to optimize your ads. So make sure you've chosen the correct conversion, and then we're going to go down. So we're going to say website. Here is an option inside here for dynamic creative. What this allows you to do is it allows you to actually create one ad in here. And in that ad, you can add up to 5 different variations of images, 5 different variations of description, headline, etc. And Facebook will test it all out for you. So you can choose to use that. When I'm creating my very first campaign, I do not use that. I will use that later on. I'll create tests, and I'll take my winners and then I'll put that into one dynamic creative ad. So let's go down here to budget and schedule. So here you can put the budget, you can do a lifetime budget, or you can do a daily budget. I like both. Lately, I've been doing some daily budgets, but you can test both. They can be very powerful. So when you have a daily budget, you don't have to set a schedule to end, but when you have a lifetime budget, you do have to put an end date. So what happens is if you do want to increase your budget and you get to the end and you want it to keep going, you have to keep coming in here and extending the lifetime and also increasing the budget. Let's just keep it at daily for now.